What's up, guys? It's your boy, BRUHHHH, back with some more choices that matter. And the sun went out. And in the last episode, um, I stole clothes. um, we're on, I believe it's Malta. We followed Santiago to the island of Malta. He killed Jonathan, but Jonathan was able to reveal that he's not a willing sacrifice, so it was basically just murder. And we called Domina to kill Santiago now. She's on the boat with him, and then I literally all we did was we just asked her simply, "Hey, if Sharon's on there, can you make sure she's okay?" She's like, "No, I cannot do that. Only for €1,000,000." So I was like, "What?" So I want her to just kill Santiago right now, because Sharon, first, she can take care of herself. Second of all, I'm probably gonna rush onto that boat soon, anyways. So here's our response. Very well. Ugh. Very well, said Domina. It was a pleasure doing business with you. I was unable to be civil, so I hung up. Hell yeah, I hung up on that bitch. What have you done? I am ceasing communication with you until further notice. What? That's fair, I whispered, staggering through the crowd and leaning against the stone wall for support. My guts twisted, and I dug my fingers into the stone in helpless frustration. Had I just sentenced Sharon to death? Oh shit! I probably fucking killed Sharon. I probably killed Sharon. I should have just accepted the trouble for the Italian mob. I should have just lied to them. I just got Sharon killed. Sharon is dead. Damn it! No! You and 14% of players tried to destabilize Victor's Malta support and chose to take care of Santiago first. Arc 9. Oh my god. Santiago lifted Jonathan's body and tossed it overboard. You fucking dirty bitch. A long time ago, Jonathan had been the leader of the 100-Day Cult, a name based on his predictions of the second sun outage. And even longer time ago, he had been an ordinary man in an ordinary office crunching numbers. His body barely even made a splash. The crowd dispersed quickly, this time unconsciously seeing that being close to Santiago meant being close to death. Santiago and his cult disappeared inside the ferry, leaving the pair of armed men standing guard on deck. Sharon, Victor, and the Mafia were all in that ferry. I was the only one on the outside. Waiting was my only option, I realized. Until an opportunity presented itself, I had no choice but to watch the ferry from the docks. Eventually, the guards would have to change their shifts and I could sneak aboard. I just had to wait for it. So I waited. And waited. And waited. I waited until I fell asleep, the snow falling all around me. Good day, a familiar Australian voice greeted me, waking me from a nap. Sharon! Sharon! Please be Sharon! All my breath puffed out of me at once, and I had to calm myself before turning to her. Ron? Sharon tried to grin over her grimace. One of her eyes was closed, and it was caked in blood. I could see the burn marks around her closed eye. The one and only. What did they do to her eye? I stood up and looked at her in horror. What happened to your eye? This? She waved it away dismissively as if her eye was unimportant. Muzzle blast. Some dingbat shot his gun next to my eye during my grand escape. You should see the state of him now. Guilt started filling my chest. I take it Domina didn't help you? That Mafia abroad, she scoffed. We crossed paths once, but she had her own agenda. She's still there, keeping an eye on Santiago. She just tried to charge €1,000,000 to save you. Sharon gave an impressive whistle just before wincing at the pain. Well done not falling for that old scam. But at what cost? Sharon, about your eye, I said while looking at her injury. Was it permanent? I think you need a doctor. Don't be a dingo. Come on, let's go somewhere warmer, she said and walked ahead of me.
Dumbass motherfucker.
Now, she's going to a doctor. I glanced down at my wrist. Modi, Sharon's back. Are you still not talking to me? Modi didn't reply. You piece of shit. I need a hospital. I need Sharon to go to a hospital. I sighed. I saved €1,000,000. Sharon was alive and the mafia was on Victor. I could handle the silent treatment from Modi. Just tell Modi that you need a hospital and it's for Sharon's sake. And he'll most likely cut his silence and he'll be like, alright, I'll tell you, bitch. As we walked away from the docks, I glanced back at Santiago's ferry several times. It was interesting that he'd chosen to deliver his second sacrifice from on board a ship guarded by an icy sea. Even Santiago knew that Santiago couldn't last. I'd only just felt out the truth of Santiago's fate when his ferry turned and motored away. His most faithful paused to watch him go, and I wondered if they felt relieved or abandoned now that he declared them to be insufficiently faithful. I certainly hoped Domino would do more than keep an eye on Santiago. At that moment, the enormous black screens lining the water lit up with Santiago's face once more. I have searched for the faithless one in our midst, and have found her at last, he cried. If you see the false woman among you, capture her at once and bring her to me in Rome. She will be our last and greatest sacrifice. It's Sharon. His image faded from the screen, replaced by a photo of Sharon. My heart skipped a beat as I tried to process what the new line meant for my friend. We turned to look at each other for a moment. This way, Sharon whispered, and I followed. Dang, now we can't even go to the hospital. Sharon, I'm trying to save your eyes so you're still good looking after this, okay? That's gonna look very weird with you having an eye patch. It's gonna look very weird. She led us into a dark cathedral that looked like it was constructed at least 5 centuries ago. Oh my god, Sharon. Sharon. We need to go to the hospital. Once we were sure we were out of danger, Sharon stood next to me and examined the cathedral's sign. Cathedral signed Caravaggio painting with a critical air. I'd like it better if beheadings hadn't just become a possibility again, she said. Victor had been killing his victims by shooting them in the head, but I wasn't about to argue that point, so I didn't say anything. My first instinct is to go and slap that pig-headed lout right in the face, she sighed, but I've decided to be cautious and stick a little closer to you for a while. I'm angry too. Time to stop Santiago once and for all. Man, I'm about to fuck Santiago up. Man, I'm about to fuck his... That's more like it, Sharon said. Domina and her mafia buddies are still on board, so we're not going to lose them. Modi, I said, would you mind telling me, Domina, we want an update? But make sure her Modicon doesn't make a noise. Right away, teacher. You're talking to me again? Domina called back at once, but spoke in a whisper. He needs to live a little longer, she said. What? I said. You never asked me to kill him, she pointed out. You asked me to stop him. To get rid of him, I confirmed, by capture, by drugging, whatever. Not to join him for a cruise. If we kill him now, she says, we make him a martyr. Dozens more victorious leaders would spring up within the day, and it would be a lot harder to end this thing. If you're wrong, do I get a refund? If you're wrong, do I get a refund? Domina's story softened and they hung up. She managed to snort in such a way that I felt uncouth. Great! Before we did anything else, I checked the morals of a tiny hair salon by making some pro-Santiago comments that got me thrown out. It's safe, I told Sharon happily. Surprise me. She grinned and left me to wait for her transformation. I watched the people walking by, doing their shopping and running errands. There were families, professionals, and teenagers, many of them with new golden eyes. I played a grim game, imagining which of them would deliver Sharon to Santiago if they spotted her. That woman calling for her grandchildren, That man smiling as he loosened his tie. That redhead with far too many bags of shopping. The redhead in sunglasses was coming closer, and I had a horrible feeling she was heading for the hair salon and my daydream would become a reality. Instead, she stopped in front of me. "G'day," she said. "Are you faking it or what?" Oh! 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 Jesus! Oh! I thought, oh! Sharon, I gasped and stood to my feet at once. "But you're completely different. You're in a dress and heels, and your hair." Sunglasses and makeup hid her eye injury well enough not to draw any attention. "You really weren't faking it," she said. "Not a bit. I'm a complete moron." "Glad to hear it," she said, linking arms with me. I thought the girly stuff was a nice touch, though I'm sure my ankles will hate me later. We headed back to the harbor, and I did my best to act as relaxed as she did. I used to be so good at not caring about other people. What happened to me? "So," said Sharon, surveying the array of ships in the harbor. "Beg, borrow, or steal?" "Oh, I still have a ship. I'll have Dolores send it here. Do you have the money to hire something?" Man, I'm about to get Dolores' ship up in here. Dolores' ship is about to be up in this bitch. You better hope to fucking God that we get to freaking land soon enough so I can get you to go to a hospital. You need a hospital, okay? Etienne didn't really have any mortal injuries. That is a freaking injury. You're going to probably lose an eye if you don't get to a hospital. From the moment Sharon started talking to her captain, it was clear we were in the company of pirates. Still, I trusted them more than I trusted Santiago. The sea stunk of dying algae due to the lack of sunlight, and we had to take turns on watching with the crews since far too many fish attacked the boat as if we were personally to blame for their discomfort. I shot a dragonfish with wide white staring eyes and uneven teeth. Sharon told me she shot dozens of sharks as they tried to bite into our hole over and over again. We were relieved to leave the sea behind and only deal with Rome's kamikaze pigeons and household pets behaving like apex predators with predictably unpleasant results. And of course, all the cult members. The governments of France and Spain had already collapsed, and I doubted Italy would be far behind. Uh-oh. Whatever happened to the government, I was very uncomfortable being on the streets. I felt like Sharon's face would be recognized at any moment. Some parts of Rome were hectic with an electric energy that could turn violent at any moment. Other parts were virtually deserted as citizens sensed coming disaster and fled elsewhere. Find a discreet hotel. "I thought this might come in handy," said Sharon, slipping a wedding ring onto my finger. Thank you," I said. "Shouldn't you have one too?" "Certainly not," she said. "I'm just the mistress. You're the one having an affair." No, hold on. No. Sharon, you're gonna say I'm having an affair? What the heck? Oh, Sharon, you're a homewrecker. "I see," I said. My God. I watched in a mixture of amusement and horror as she produced an array of makeup and accessories from her handbag, transforming herself into someone 10 years younger and 30 IQ points dumber in a matter of minutes. She put her sunglasses back on, effectively hiding the fact she wasn't able to open one of her eyes, and that it was swelling blue, red, and black. Oh God. "Being discreet," she told me, "is all about giving people an inaccurate lie to spread about you in order to hide your real secret." "I'll have no trouble acting attracted to you." Yes! "Thanks," she said. "Shall we?" We giggled our way into the hotel, earning at least one subtly disapproving look along the way. Finally, we could relax. I awoke clear-headed clear-headed enough to know Domina had a point about the possibility of creating more villains by killing Santiago. It might take a while to find a clear phone line, but I was determined to talk to someone with a clearer perspective on the victorious cult. Call Etienne for advice. Etienne. Modi tried again and again to call Etienne, but without success. I helped myself to a free breakfast and tried to think. What's so special about me? Sharon asked through a mouthful of cereal. Are you fishing for compliments now? I asked. She shook her head and then swallowed her mouthful. After the first mob murder, I shouted a question, something like, you killed her, so now where's the son? I remembered I said, that's when his guards took you. She nodded. Everyone there was thinking the same thing. If murdering someone brings back the son, where is it? And now you're public enemy number one, I said, for asking an oblivious question. Or obvious. This solution to the victorious is obvious. She said, obviousness, I just need to be louder. Mr. Santiago has announced another sacrifice will take place at noon today in front of the Sistine Chapel. At the Vatican, said Sharon. He's really poking the crocodile in the eye, isn't he? Which is exactly what we're going to do to him. She ran from the room and came back in sneakers. I love a good ceiling painting, she said. Are you coming or what? Oh, God. Sharon, don't go out there. Don't. Suit yourself, she said, and ran outside. Sharon! Sharon! I've risked life and limb to save you many, many, many times. You just keep getting yourself back in trouble. You need to go. If she goes to a hospital and gets the eye fixed first, then she won't have to wear sunglasses all the damn time. Teacher. I know, Modi, I said, grabbing my own runners. I'm going. We stole a car to save time, leaving 50 euros and an apology note in the glove box once we were within running distance of the chapel. The streets were already packed, and we hoped our vehicle didn't end up torched. That would be rude and entirely our fault. I thought about how to break the hold Santiago had on people. What we really needed was the sun to come back and fast. Unfortunately, it didn't oblige. That kid Yumi, I said, he seems to think the sun will come back, and Jonathan talked about hope just before he died. And you never give up, and you're so normal. Oh yes, she said, her red hair streaming behind her like a flag. What's your big idea then? Turn Jonathan into a martyr. Oh, God. Put Jonathan on there? Ah! Jonathan, he's... Ah! I don't want her to get all hot-headed, you know? Become power-hungry. Turn Jonathan into a martyr. I'm listening, she said, elbowing people aside to get us closer to the front. Where do we start? Right here, I said, in the middle of everyone. People are ugly in a mob, and if they saw themselves, they'd be ashamed. Modi, film as many faces as you can. Filming now, teacher. Well, we'll need to splice things when we get home, I muttered. And we need music. People loved Jonathan once, and we need to tap into that quality he had. Yes, teacher, I understand now. Santiago appeared on another black-clad stage. His production team was getting quicker, rolling out the stage and screens faster than I could pick a lock. In seconds, he dragged a priest on stage. The young man wept, but he looked at all the guards surrounding him and kneeled to pray instead of trying to fight. Modi, I whispered, film him as close as you can. Cut Santiago out of the frame like he's an afterthought. It's that boy that matters now. Aren't you going to save him, teacher? No, Modi, I said softly. Not this time. Damn. Doesn't his life matter to you? Sharon broke away from me, jumping up and climbing on the tightly packed shoulders of the crowd until they bore her forwards, not even realizing what they were doing. Miss Sharon, what are you doing? I'm not afraid, she yelled. The sun is coming back. Sharon's sunglasses had fallen off, her injured eye visible. What was she doing? Victor would kill her like he did Jonathan. Sharon, stop, I yelled and tried in vain to push past the crowd towards her. Sharon! Stop it! Stop! She was getting farther and farther away from me. Sharon, stop! 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 Stop doing this! My heart leaping out of my chest, I desperately tried to think of a way to stop Sharon hurling herself into danger. The young priest looked up to see a red-headed Australian crowd surfing towards him with outstretched arms, and he reached out his hands. Bodhi, film her no matter what. I think she's got an idea. Sharon flew over the crowd, over a mass of human hate so dense it became suddenly ludicrous when people instinctively lifted their arms to help her sail above them. She was heading straight for the stage and gaining speed. Oh. I'm not afraid, she yelled. The sun will come back. Her new red hair came loose and streamed around her, shining like blood in the light of hundreds of fireflies that appeared out of nowhere to surround her like a chorus of lights. She better not die. She was going to get herself killed. She knew it, and she didn't care. Oh God, the crowd sent her right into the arms of the young priest Santiago had chosen as his victim of the day. Santiago must have chosen a priest deliberately, splitting in the eye of the Catholic Church to punish them for believing in a God that wasn't him. The priest saw Sharon and reached out his hands. Even more fireflies appeared, covering Sharon and the doomed priest in light. They flew towards Santiago, but bounced off him as if his skin was poisonous. Sharon looked up at them and smiled. They settled on her red hair like a living halo. Sharon grabbed the priest's outstretched hands, and the pair of them spun out into the crowd, which opened up and swallowed them whole. The fireflies flowed out among the people, spreading so evenly it looked as if each person carried a single bright light. On the giant screen all around us, Santiago's oversized face twisted in confusion and rage. He lifted his gun. Sharon! Sharon! Teacher, run! Fuck that! Santiago shot into the crowd, his face steady and cold, multiplied into grotesque size all around us. It took a moment for the reality to sweep over the crowd. There was a sudden audible intake of breath. Then gunshots. Then screaming. Teacher, do not get trampled. I moved with the crowd, pushing back when it pushed me and following where it led. Sometimes I felt my feet lose contact with the ground and I was carried along. I grabbed shoulders and bags and hair so I didn't fall underfoot when gravity pulled on me again. Where was Sharon? Where would she go to find me? What if she'd been shot? The crowd thinned at last and I was last on a random Italian street. I could still hear screaming and many of the people hurrying past had bloodied hands, knees, and faces. It wasn't a safe place. Go back to the car. Go back to the hotel. She'll probably meet up at the hotel because, see, the car it was stolen and we left an apology note. Go back to the hotel. I hesitated outside, terrified I'd find nothing. Terrified Sharon would never laugh at me again. But my fears were unfounded. Sharon ran out to me, her hair turned blonde again and still wet from its treatment. How dare you risk your life like that? Why don't you shut your ass up, man? Shut your ass up. I blinked, startled at Modi's fury. What have you gotten yourself killed? Modi, said Sharon, are you alright? No. Sharon glanced at me for reassurance. But Modi, I didn't die. I'm fine. See? Your teacher's fine too. I'm not worried about teacher right now. What? You scared me. Please, please don't ever do that again. Said Sharon, lifting her hands as if to comfort Modi, but not knowing how. I cleared my throat. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say that I'm not fine either. Actually, I'm not fine either. Now, it's gonna be the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next video, and, peace.